19 days ago, I almost had my first heart attack when I walked into my room and I thought there's a stranger in my house. I thought to myself, is this what a male in his prime should look like? What if Megan Fox walked through those doors ready for me? Would I even be able to take my shirt off? My mom told me I was beautiful. Was she lying? I knew I needed to change. So over the last 19 days, I used every tool I had to unfuck months of binging in just 3 weeks. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I did it. Now, let me ask you a question. If you could flip one switch and instantly become your most disciplined self, would you do it? Because I was sick of being stuck in the cycle of letting my mind overpower me, losing control and feeling like a ballsack. But I finally took back control and murdered that little inner pussy inside me after discovering there is a switch you can flip that unleashes insane discipline. So a few months ago, I was visiting Tunisia with a friend and her family was showing me around. They were casually pointing, there's a school. And right beside it was a prison. And I was able to catch a glimpse of the inmates being transferred in. And these guys were all jacked, man. I thought, wow, look at me. I powder my butt cheeks. I try to weigh my little chicken and I have all these supplements. How are all these guys harder than me? If even one of them just made a little eye contact with me, I'd probably have to change my underwear. It stayed in my head and it kept bothering me until I realized why they're so jacked. It's because everything is so automated for them. The time they sleep, what time they train, what they eat. They don't even think about any of that. And there's no temptations that get in the way. Literally nothing can get in the way. I didn't want to live like a prisoner, but I wanted that simplicity. I wanted as less mental battles as possible. So just like them, I had the same meals weekly at the same times. I trained at 7 p.m. sharp every evening and I used the same grocery list. I went to bed, I woke up at the same times no matter what. I even wore the same clothes to the gym and believe it or not, I loved every bit of this. It was easy. It made me feel like a passenger princess and I had nothing to even think about. Everything was there and ready. And to regulate all of this, I set 5 alarms on my phone and I just stuck to them. One for when it's time to eat, time to take a break, train and go to sleep. By using this approach, it unloaded so much mental stress. I didn't even have the chance to negotiate with myself anymore. And having this routine in place stopped my emotions from calling all the shots and allowed my actions to just run on autopilot. Because if my mind was like, man, let's go to the gym maybe later. No. Follow the schedule. Maybe one more episode of Breaking Bad. Nope. In bed now. I want to order something. Oh, eat what's there. Not only did I get lean fast, I saved so much money from not eating out. And the whole real foods I was eating gave me 10 times more energy than all that garbage I was eating before. It's not garbage. I love that food, but you get my point. The only thing I really had to think about was who is the lucky girl I'm going to wank to before bed and the other one in the morning. So it's been 3 weeks like this. I don't miss eating the junk that much. It was actually kind of like an addiction, man. I was having it every single day. It's not normal. But after next week, I'm going to have a cheat meal once every 2 weeks. Not feel like a prisoner. I'm already starting to act like one around the house these days. Now, before I even attempted to get into shape, there were 5 essential steps I had to do, like figuring out my calories, how much protein do I need, where am I going to get that from? I put all these steps for you in a guide and I can't imagine getting results fast like this without doing this first. Now this is going to work wonderfully if you have the right tools by your side. I have to admit though, I've tried this simple routine before, but I burnt out in just a week and fell back into the old cycle feeling like a bigger failure than when I even started. And then I think this shit isn't for me. It's working for him. This guy's on steroids. I'd blame work, anything I could blame. But this next thing saved my ass because it guarantees that you stick with it this time and actually pull through. Now, when I'm getting over a breakup, unfortunately, I'm the sad chicken boy who takes 10 times longer to get over their ex while they get over me in 2 seconds. Because if I'm in deep, soldier. I want to marry you. Bring your father. I'll massage his back for you. So breakups were always hard for me. But there were some things I do subconsciously in those first weeks to help ease into it. Now, this might sound terrible, but after my last ex, I started dating two other Latin women just to feel that Latin touch which she had. And in the car, I'd be singing their music, bailando. And if she was Indian born, man. I kept eating their food. I just kept doing all the same things we used to. It gave me comfort. It's weird, man, but it's what worked, and eventually I got over them. Because when you go through a transformation, what's really happening is you're breaking up with a fat version of yourself. One you've been in a loving, committed relationship with for decades. And if you suddenly just end things overnight, you might find yourself at their house at 3 a.m. with a guitar. And then you just spiral the next day and go right back running into their arms. And to stop me from doing that, to running into Fat Calvin's arms, I always made sure I had the best fruits, the best mangoes, the best acai bowls for the times I wanted to send a "you up" text to Baskin Robbins. You feel me, dog? I didn't care about the cost of these fruits or how much I ate because it's hard to overeat them. And if you cut the junk, you'll save money from that anyway. Since I stopped the fat life, the fun life, I'm going to be honest, I did get a bit bored of things like walking. I went from doing these many steps to this. And believe it or not, I'm leaner doing just the 4,000-ish because I focused on other forms of cardio I actually liked and enjoyed. And the times I wanted a cheat meal, okay, I made the homemade equivalent to that once a week, whether it's a barbecue or I tried to make something like a KFC twist or even biryani. So I use those old weird coping mechanisms to break up with my old toxic fat self, get over him, and start a new beautiful relationship with a healthier, leaner version of me. These substitutes are crucial if you want to succeed. Without them, change is almost impossible. You will slip back into those old habits, just like those old toxic relationships where you break up, get back together 20 times. Oh, I love you, baby. Oh, I hate you. I love you. Those are never fun. You need to make this as easy as possible for you. And sometimes that even means putting in less work. What if I told you that you can get better results by spending even less time in the gym? Now, I was so skeptical when I first tried this, but I actually cut my workouts by 40%. And I wish I did this sooner. To explain this, you need to hear what's probably the most valuable lesson I ever learned about training in the past 10 years. So I was preparing myself for a jiu-jitsu competition, and at that point, I knew nothing about recovering, neither did I respect it. I was training 3 times a day sometimes, 6 days a week at a high intensity. 1 week before the competition, I was training my ass off. I hurt my shoulder in a class. And the next day, when I should have been at home resting, I went to the class. I told myself, okay, I'm just going to go there and watch. I had a little bit of sense. When it was time for sparring, I couldn't help myself. I went in, had a little fun, and ended up dislocating my shoulder, giving myself the worst, most permanent, shitty, lifelong injury ever. I couldn't train properly. I lived in fear always that it would happen again, which it did 3 more times. And then I did surgery altogether, costing me years. If I had just skipped this one day at the gym, this 1 hour's class, I would have saved years of training and none of this pain bullshit would have happened. When it comes to losing fat, believe it or not, less is more as well. Because if you're on a calorie deficit, eating less, naturally, you're going to have less energy. While I'm deep in this calorie deficit, I was training 5 days a week. And honestly, it was the shittiest of workouts. I was not pushing myself and I was just doing it to get over with it. Kind of like a bad first date. You just want to finish, okay? I'd spread myself way too thin. So I switched to training 3 times a week, which made the calorie deficit feel easier because I was getting more rest. And because of this, I could give my absolute all in all the workouts I was doing. Here's what shocked me the most though. I found myself lifting heavier weights in this massive calorie deficit than when I was bulking. Because when you have just 3 workouts a week, you can't be jerking off around in the gym. I made every single set count. But best of all, I used that extra time where I was not going to the gym to just chill, breathe, and just prepare for the next few days. The grocery shopping, cooking, and all that stuff which actually drives real fat loss results. Building muscle and getting lean is kind of like texting a girl. You don't want to do too much, you might scare her off, which I am a black belt in. So lock yourself in a solid routine that's built around simplicity, so you save all your energy for just execution and not these mental battles. Should I eat this? Should I do that? Keep it simple. Invest your time into buying substitutes that can help you break up with your fat loss and move on. And lastly, give yourself that time to rest, recover, and prepare for the week, the next day. Now, as you do this, you're going to drop a lot of fat. But the last thing you want to do is end up skinny fat. Over here, I show you the simplest way to build muscle whilst losing fat at the same time without wasting any time on any other bullshit.